Okay, it's 10 o'clock. We will get started. This is a hearing on a finding by Blount County Animal Control that a dog belonging to, is it Catricia? Is that how to pronounce it? Hamilton. I believe the dog's name is Scar. The finding was that the dog was vicious. Now, the way this works, we will have the animal control officer come up and give his findings and the reason for issuing the citation. And then we'll let Ms. Hamilton come up and give any testimony that she wants. And then we'll ask for any other testimony. And then I'll just render a decision after that. So, officer, if you want to come on up. If you would identify yourself.
Jeff Campbell, Blount County Animal Control Officer. We'd been getting calls on this dog all along. Basically, we was trying to catch it at large. And on 2/7/13, we received a call from dispatch that the dog had made an attack on another dog. At that time, I went out, but the animal was contained when I arrived. And I spoke with Miss Hamilton and just basically asked her to please keep the dog up. Basically warned her that, you know, that we was trying to catch the dog at large. And on 3/7/13, I received a call from dispatch that the dog was out and it had made an attack on the dog at 4014 Taliaferro Lane, Louisville. And I responded. Upon responding, the dog was coming up Gravelly Hill Road and made a pass in time I got to the address of where the dog had been attacked. They was getting ready to take their dog to the vet, and the dog come up on the property, in which I tranquilized the animal and took possession of the animal. And when she came to claim the animal, I've got on the 8th, Miss Hampton come to the animal shelter, and then we served her with a vicious dog letter because that would have been 2 or more attacks on domesticated animals. And that's where we are right now. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Hamilton, you want to come on up? And if you will identify yourself for the record.
Yes, good morning. I never done this before, so I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to say, but I do have a letter. Oh, I'm Catricia Lynn Hamilton. This is my husband, Jimmy Ray Hamilton. I do have a letter from our veterinary services that I would like you to look at if that's possible.
Sure.
Can I walk it to you?
Sure.
Okay, thanks.
I guess basically the dog did get loose.
Would you identify
Jimmy Hamilton.
Okay.
Her husband. He did get loose. Since then, he's been confined in a 6-foot fence, and I've left him on a runner as well. I don't really think he needs to be, but just to ensure that he doesn't, we don't have any more incidents. He's on a runner and inside a 6-foot fence. And she's got some pictures she can show you if you need to see them.
Okay. Anything you want to share?
Thank you. I do want to mention I had developed at Walgreens, and they had some kind of situation. I went before court to pick them up, and
Okay.
they didn't have them for me. I apologize for that. I've deleted a bunch so you wouldn't have to go through grandchildren and everything.
Okay.
Sorry. And if I ain't mistaken, you just kind of keep hitting that one, and it'll show you.
Okay.
There's probably about 14 different pictures.
Okay.
I think that's what you get. If that's not
Now, what kind of dog is it?
He is an American Akita. He turned 2 years old February 24th.
Okay.
And we have his mom and dad, and they turned 5 in November.
I see.
And his fence joins, we kind of like the Lion King in our house, his fence joins Seminole. Seminole is his mom and dad, and Scars joins.
Now, is he kept in this fence
Yes, sir.
at all times?
Yes, all times. And also, my husband put a cable there with a runner. It's 20 to 25 feet long, so he can have some room and run around inside there and not just be, you know, just in one little spot. And there's his doghouse, it was clean, but we have red clay mud and he bites all on it. And then there you can see where he's joined with his mom and dad.
Okay.
And there's some more if you wanna, it's up to you. Thanks for looking at those.
Sure.
I'm sorry I didn't have one on 4x6.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Sure. Okay, is there anyone else, or you have some more?
Did you wanna see what he broke?
That's his collar?
Yeah, this is the collar that he broke.
It broke?
Yes.
I don't think it actually broke. I don't understand how it slipped loose, but it did.
And we didn't bring the big long looking one, but it's, actually I have a physical picture of it if you wanna see what it came off of. It was still attached to the cable, so it was kinda, we don't really understand how we got on without that on. That's what this came off of. But of course, before we put him in the fence, he was on a runner, cause
I see.
my husband works 2 full-time jobs, and he was trying to work in a time to get him into a fence, but
Sure.
unfortunately, after the second attack, which we hated that happen, he made time to do the fence, but we're really
Okay.
sorry it happened, and he's probably not ever gonna get loose again, but
Okay.
that's really all I'm gonna say.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, does anyone else wish to speak? If you want to come on up and identify yourself, please.
Yes, I will. My name is Dennis Lovin, Lovin, and my wife Luann. We are the neighbors at 4014 Taliaferro Lane, and it was our animals that were attacked.
Okay.
We have some documentation we'd like to bring you.
Sure.
This is a brief chronology of what has occurred. And we need 2 copies here.
Yeah, if you just give it to, send it to you.
Pardon me.
Sure.
This is a more expanded chronology with notes and that details it further. And after the first attack, this is where the dog was kept. Right, he was kept outside of the fenced area on a runner with that collar attached, and that's where he's broken free.
I see.
So,
Can I see that picture?
sure. Yeah.
Okay, we'll, if you let him give his testimony, then
Okay.
you can see it.
These are pictures of the wounds that happened the second attack, and here are the vet bills, which the Hamiltons have paid.
Okay.
Thank you.
He wants to.
I'll be glad to give him a copy of it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Here is a copy.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Hamilton has apologized for the attacks, and Mrs. Hamilton as well, and they have paid our vet bills. And we are here because we were relieved that the dog is finally appropriately contained inside the fence, and the threat is resolved. Our hope is that he will remain that way. We do not wish the animal any harm. We don't want the animal put down. That's not what we're asking. We're asking just for peace in our neighborhood, so that we don't have to live in fear of that dog breaking free again, attacking our animals. Our animals are, the smallest one is 14 pounds, and we're glad that he wasn't killed. Also, there's another problem here in that in the last attack, I was gone, Luann was home alone, and she stood yelling at the dog to get him out of there. The problem with dogs is, according to our vet, that dogs will experience displaced aggression. If she were to get in and try to break up the attack, the dog wouldn't see her as a dog and might attack her.
As a human.
As a human being. This is a large and powerful dog, and so there is, there's concern about human life there too. So what we would like to see as an outcome is that the vicious dog designation be retained without the animal being harmed, but in our minds, this creates the force of law to say you need to keep that animal appropriately retained so that it will not be a harm to anyone else or anyone's property, and that's what we're asking here.
If I might also add, we do not understand why this step was not taken a year ago after the first attack. And so that means 3 times Scar has come onto our property after our dogs, and it's just like we feel like we can't leave our dogs at home. We don't know if it's going to attack our dogs while we're gone, and what would happen again during an attack. We try to intervene, and it's been a lot of pressure on us. We don't understand why the Hamiltons did not take steps to make sure the dog could not, absolutely. I know they thought they had evidently done everything, but obviously they had not, and why they did not put it in the pen last March when the first attack took place. So it's been, really a difficult thing for us living next door to that.
We appreciate that Mr. Hamilton did apologize, and I said to Mr. Hamilton, the best thing for us to do is let bygones be bygones or move down the road. I'm sincere in that, but I want to make sure that we're not living with a threat of that dog getting loose again. So our request is that the dog remain appropriately detained inside the pen, and that will work for us. Thank you.
Okay, would you all like to respond?
Well, obviously,
If you come up to the mic, please.
we thought the dog it was a year until the dog got loose, so I thought he was contained. I'm really not sure I don't know how that would happen. I've studied that chain and let an engineer buddy of mine look at it. He's no explanation, but I don't think the dog's going to get loose again. I don't think the dog is vicious. What I really think happened is his small dog, 20-pound dog, probably was protecting its territory, and a 90-pound dog's not going to put up with a 14-pound dog protecting its territory, and that hadn't shown any aggression, certainly no aggression toward anyone. Was the dog in any way aggressive toward people or other dogs when he was?
No problem with me, but he was, when he came onto the property, he was, you can tell he was showing aggression.
Excited.
That's natural of people.
I guess that's all.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, is there anything else?
Yes, I just have one.
Sure.
To me, the choke collar and things which the Hamiltons had on Scar and which were broken only serve to support that this is an aggressive dog. Right after the second attack, when our dogs were playing out in plain view of Scar, he was up, just trying and barking and gasping because he wanted loose so badly, looking at our dogs. And I think that supports that if he has any chance to get free, he's going to be after our dogs again.
Okay, anything else? Yes, ma'am.
I just want to mention that everything that she just said is true, except Akitas basically do not bark hardly at all. That's one beauty of them. They may hoof hoof, or they might howl, but when they do make a bark or a howl, something is going on. Their dogs bark at the air, they bark at themselves, they continuously bark. My husband works 2 full-time jobs. We had never said anything at all about the barking of their dogs. We've turned on ceiling fans, we turn on box fans on high. The only time we mentioned this was when they started talking about Viscious, However, we've seen a common vest on their standard poodle, which name is Bella. Doesn't really do any good. We just kind of, block it out when we're on our back porch grilling, or we're on our back porch enjoying the scenery by the lake and the hot tub. If Bella or Charlie comes out, it's basically a constant bark the whole time. Our dogs are not vicious and they're not annoying. Have a good day.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, now I am really angry. I just want to say, first of all, our dogs sleep inside in our bedroom. If they keep their fans on or whatever, it's not about our dogs keeping them awake.
Ma'am, this is not about barking. This is about...
I know, this is a completely different subject. There's a difference between being annoyed and being in fear.
Okay, we don't have any say-so over that. So. Okay. We have to go by the animal control ordinance of Blount County. And let me read you section 5 of that animal control ordinance. Vicious dogs and cats prohibited. No person shall own, keep, harbor, or possess, or in any way maintain a vicious dog or cat unless safety procedures, and as hereinafter provided, have been implemented. If a dog or cat either attacks a person by biting or in any manner causing injury, or habitually or repeatedly attacks livestock or other domestic animals without provocation, it shall be prima facie evidence that the dog or cat is vicious. After notification by an animal control officer that the dog or cat is vicious, the owner thereof shall keep the dog or cat chained or muzzled or in a secure enclosure at all times, or have the dog or cat humanely destroyed, or turn the dog or cat over to animal control for humane destruction at the animal shelter. Okay. The evidence shows that we have an instance of a dog attacking another dog on a repeated basis. I have not heard any evidence about provocation, so I'm going to assume that it was without provocation. Therefore, the finding of viciousness by animal control is upheld. Now, Ms. Hamilton, Mr. Hamilton, you will be required to keep Scar either chained or muzzled or in a secure location, secure enclosure at all times. And I think that's what you're doing now, so it sounds like you're already complying with that. So, Officer Campbell, if you will check on that situation to make sure that that is being complied with. And I applaud you for trying to work it out between yourselves. A lot of neighbors won't do that, which leads to a lot of problems. And I hope that if there is a rift here, that it can be resolved, because both of y'all are good people, or both families are good people. So if there's nothing else, this hearing is closed. Yes, ma'am.
I can walk my dog, correct, on a leash?
On a leash, as long as it is, as long as, and any questions about this need to be referred to Officer Campbell.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sure, sure. Okay, thank you.